Yo, what is up guys? It's your boy Slapthigh, and today I wanted to make a quick guide on the new character Rossi-11. I know the hype is mainly around Hellhest right now, but I honestly think that this character could be slept on. I think he's actually got great potential as a unit, and I don't think people should sleep on him that much. So real quick, pulling up the character right here, going over his weapons real quick, he uses a bow and auto crossbow. To my knowledge, I think he might be one of the first units to have two different types of Shinka shields. He has precision, and he also has rapid fire. Obviously, you can break any Shinka with any character, but the fact that a character has a piercing and a rapid fire at the same time is actually pretty busted. Not only that, but he can use the new Trinity Ghoul bow, which he actually is really good with, and I will show the reason why later on in the video here. But basically, it has to do with his relic ability where he is able to pull in enemies and keep them trapped within this arc cage here. And as you guys know, Trinity Ghoul, when you get kills with it, it loads a arc arrow that when shot will do like a chain lightning AoE attack. So if you pull in enemies with the arc cage and then you use that Trinity Ghoul arrow, it's just, really good for getting all the ads down if you could group them all together and then put them into the arc cage and then shoot the arrow. Basically what his first signature does is it pulls in and inflicts confined on nearby combatants, and what confined does is it renders the combatants immobile, so it basically just stuns them. And it also makes a bubble around the enemies that makes it so they cannot shoot through it, but you can shoot through it. And then this pairs very well with his second signature ability, Thread Flow, where he can throw arc threads through the shield, and it deals damage and grants him an overshield as well. And then speaking of overshield, his passive Ionic Protection, when any of his abilities hit targets, they grant 1 point of passive energy up to a maximum of 9. And this passive energy is converted into an overshield at 1:77 ratio once every 2 seconds for 6 seconds. So not only does he have very good CC, but he also has very good survivability with his overshield. And then his super photoelectric gate, it's basically like Kaber's shield, but on steroids. It's just a giant wall that will protect you and your allies. And when you use the ult again, it will be sent forward as an additional attack. So it's really good if you're in a pinch or if you need like a big wall to hide behind. It's very nice for that. Then real quick, going over his relic traits, his first relic trait, Thread Flow, can now over-penetrate combatants, so that's really good if you have a bunch of enemies in a group, and then you just shoot your Thread Flow, it'll go through the enemies and pierce through all of them. And his second relic trait, when the photoelectric gate takes damage, it will generate 1 additional passive energy for Rossi-11. This effect has a 1-second cooldown, so basically if anything shoots the shield that you make, it will generate more passive energy for you. And then when I say shield, I mean his ult. And then relic trait 3 here, when Rossi-11's health is below 50%, gain an overshield that will also heal them for 50% of the overshield's health. So this is obviously another really good option for survivability, and it will tie into my artifact suggestions later on in the video. And then real quick, going over his weapon mastery, Ionic Cascade. Whenever Ionic Protection performs an energy conversion, it will also grant Rossi's bow and auto crossbow 1 stack of weave, up to 3 stacks. When shots hit targets, they consume 1 stack of weave to generate a lightning strike, dealing 499 arc damage to combatants within a 2-meter radius. So this is just another great example of some crowd control that he's able to do with his weapon mastery. Overall, he's a really good unit that has a lot of crowd control and survivability. Then real quick, going over his talent tree for the first one here, when the Thread Flow passes through Arc Cage, it will activate Arc Cage to trigger an Arc Explosion, dealing 960 arc damage to combatants in a 6-meter radius. This effect can trigger once per use of Thread Flow, so this is just another addition of extra damage that you can do when you pull in enemies, and when you use your Thread Flow, it'll add, it's kind of like one of Tan's talent trees, where when you send the fireball, it'll do an extra explosion after if it was a max fireball. It's kind of like that, but with his Thread Flow signature ability. And then the second talent tree here, Liberating Melody, casting Thread Flow grants allies within a 10-meter radius an overshield equal to 50% of Rossi-11's overshield, lasting for 6 seconds. Pulsing Current here, the health of the overshield provided by Ionic Protection is increased to 100%. Ion Accelerator Photoelectric Gate gains 50% increased movement speed and damage. Eternal Imprisonment, the Arc Cage's health is increased to 100%. And then Thread Burst, when the Arc Cage of Photoelectric Gate is present, the number of arc threads launched by Thread Flow will be increased to 6. So a very solid talent tree for anybody who's already pulling for Hellhest. Hopefully you will get a bunch of extra of Rossi here. and you'll be able to get this talent tree maxed out. Unfortunately for me, I pulled a bunch of Icors and Finalas, so I wasn't very lucky in getting him to the 6th talent tree, but I did get him to 3 at least, so it's not too bad. And then heading over to the practice range here, I will showcase some of the abilities in action. So his first signature ability here, the one that pulls the enemies together, when you hold down the ability, you'll be able to see the radius of that bubble that it'll pull. So I'll do it right in the center here, and it should hopefully pull in. Not all of them, but it looks like it pulled in a majority of them. And you'll see that all got contained with that little arc containment there. And we'll do it real quick one more time just to showcase. And then you'll notice the little number next to my reticle there. That is the ionic return. When you shoot your bow, you'll see that little lightning bolt that happens when I shoot. Every time you use an ability with him, whether it be your pull or your thread, you will gain more ionic return. So the more you use your abilities, the more you get that energy at the bottom there, that which is also then transferred into ionic return. So you see at the bottom, whenever I lose one of the blue bars there, I get another ionic trance. So his moves are basic and very straightforward, so they're very easy to understand, very simplistic in design, but it also makes a killer combo if you can get a lot of adds together, especially if you can get a Trinity Ghoul shot, like I said. You know, if I had one right now and I just did that right there, if they were all red bars, I'd be pretty much instantly dead. So he is very, very good at crowd control. Also a notable thing that I mentioned before, but that shield that it creates around the enemies, they cannot shoot through it. So it makes it so if you're doing like a harder activity, like a Master or Grandmaster Strike or Raid, you can pop one of these, get them all together, and then find a place to bunker down so that you don't get killed. So moving on to his super here, popping it, you'll see it is a giant wall that you can stand behind and enemies cannot shoot through it. So it will defend you just like Caber's shield, but it's obviously much bigger than Caber's shield. And then if I press the ulti button again, it'll send it outwards like an attack, which is pretty cool looking. And it also contains them, as you can see. And to note, if you wait the entirety of the ult and you don't press the button at all, it will eventually go out on its own. As seen here, it's about to run out, and there it goes. So you do not have to press the button, but if you would like to send it out earlier, like if an enemy is about to get out of the way, I mean, I don't know how they get out of the way of this very, very big shield, but if they happen to do that, then you can just press it early, and there you go. But yes, I think this character has a lot of potential. I feel that he may be slept on just because Hellhest is obviously the main focal point of the banner, but I definitely don't think that anybody should sleep on Rossi here. Definitely give him a try if you guys pull him. So real quick, some artifact suggestions. Since he benefits from overshields, it only makes sense that you would use the overshield artifacts. So any of the rings, the Ring of Reflection, Vengeance, Courage, Safeguarding, and Abundance. I think these will work really well on him. They will pair. For instance, this one right here where it says grant 16.8% potency to healing and overshields received. So even though it says potency to healing, he actually can do some healing, even though he's mainly overshields. As previously discussed, his relic trait number 3 here, when his health is below 50%, gaining an overshield will also heal them for 50%. So he doesn't do too much healing, but he is capable of healing, so that will also benefit from that artifact that I mentioned there. But yep, there you guys have it. There's a quick guide on Rossi-11, going over his abilities and some suggestions for artifacts. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that the video helped you. If it did, please like and subscribe. It really helps me and encourages me to make more guides in the future. If I happen to miss any details on Rossi, let me know in the comments below, and I'll pin your comment. If you guys are looking for more Destiny Rising content and some live Destiny content, I stream over at my Twitch at twitch.tv/slapthigh. Would love to see you there. And yeah, thanks again so much for watching, and I hope you have a good one.